It was the morning of May 6th, 1527, and Rome was falling. A massive mercenary army had breached the city walls after weeks of tension and unpaid promises. The soldiers were exhausted, angry, and desperate. As they poured through the streets, looting followed, and their direction was clear. They were heading toward the Vatican. Inside the Apostolic Palace, the truth was impossible to ignore. The city's defenses had failed. The outer walls could not hold. Standing between that advancing force and Pope Clement VII was a single unit, the Pontifical Swiss Guard. The invading army numbered close to 20,000 men. The Swiss Guard had 189. They were not a force built for open war. They were an elite protection corps, sworn to defend the Pope, even at the cost of their lives. That oath, usually spoken in ceremony, now demanded to be lived. As reports came that the invaders were nearing St. Peter's, the guards understood their position. There would be no reinforcements. One of the men is said to have said quietly, "We do what we came here to do." Winning was no longer the goal. The mission had narrowed to one objective: hold long enough for the Pope to escape. Captain Kaspar Royst divided his men. 42 would escort the Pope through the Passetto di Borgo, the elevated corridor leading to Castel Sant'Angelo, the last defensible refuge. The remaining 147 would stay behind. The Pope was urged forward. Every second mattered. Inside St. Peter's Basilica, the remaining guards formed near the high altar. The vast church, usually filled with prayer, now felt tense and exposed. Outside, the sound of splintering wood echoed through the stone. The attackers were at the doors. The guards understood what their resistance meant. Every minute they stood there was another minute for the Pope to move towards safety. The doors finally gave way. The invaders surged into the Basilica. The Swiss Guard did not scatter. They held formation where they stood. Outnumbered and surrounded, they fought in the very heart of the church. There was no expectation of survival, only fidelity to their oath. Captain Royst fell near his post. One by one, the defenders were overwhelmed beneath the towering arches. All 147 who remained inside were killed where they stood. But their line held long enough. While the battle unfolded in St. Peter's, Pope Clement moved through the narrow stone passage of the Passetto. Behind him, the Vatican was being seized. Ahead of him stood the iron doors of Castel Sant'Angelo. He crossed the threshold. The gates closed. The lock turned. He was alive. The army that took Rome would eventually disperse. The empire behind it would fade. But every year, on May 6th, new Swiss Guard recruits stand in the Vatican courtyard. They raise their right hand and swear the same oath: to protect the Pope faithfully, loyally, and honorably, even at the cost of their lives. And as those words echo against the stone walls, they do so in the shadow of 147 men who once kept that oath to the end.